Alright, so we got the 206 spoilers, and this is a pretty crazy chapter. Like, KENJAKU is showing us pretty much what his true power is. Like, we're seeing what his domain is, for the most part, or at least how powerful it is. But before we get into the spoilers, let me just quickly go over what had happened in the previous chapter. So Tsukumo finally stepped up to fight KENJAKU, and we saw what her curse technique was, which was like mass manipulation. And she like hurt KENJAKU really bad with just one punch. But he was able to heal himself with a reverse curse technique, and Tsukumo started to speculate that KENJAKU may even have up to like 4 curse techniques. And then she just reiterated her initial plan that she had with Tengen as to where they're going to force him to open his domain so that he'll have difficulty using his curse techniques afterwards. But then they eventually realized that like they're a bad matchup for each other, as to where KENJAKU's like, you know, we find each other's curse techniques to be tricky, but you haven't opened your domain. Perhaps you lack confidence in a clash of domains. And then KENJAKU activated his domain, which was called Womb Profusion, and this big crazy pillar thing came out of the ground, and the chapter ended with Tsukumo like calling to Tengen. He was like, is there enough time? And then he put up his hands and was seemingly going to do something. And that brings us to this chapter that starts with showing a flashback of Yuki with Tengen planning how to defeat KENJAKU. And it's by expanding the domain, but at the same time being able to use a technique without closing the barrier, which the chapter refers to Sukuna when he used it in Shibuya. TLDR, they want him to be burned out of his domain expansion so Yuki has a better chance in this fight. So this is a little confusing to me, or at least how it's written. I'm not saying anything bad about Ducky. He's giving us what he was given, and I assume that English isn't his first language. So their plan is by expanding the domain, but at the same time being able to use a curse technique without closing the barrier, and it refers to Sukuna. So Sukuna did do what is being mentioned here in Shibuya. Like when he activated Malevolent Shrine against Maharaga, it wasn't like the typical domain that we see, you know, in a spherical enclosure. It just spread out to like a massive radius without any closures. Like you could even in theory escape it if you ran far enough, which is like one of the clauses built into it that made it so powerful. So does that mean that KENJAKU is doing the same thing here with his Womb Profusion domain expansion? But it says that they're planning how to defeat him, and it's by doing this? So is it not typically like this? And does that mean that that's what Tengen was doing at the end of the previous chapter? Like when he put up his hand sign, was he like somehow pulling KENJAKU's domain out and like not having it enclosed and like forcing him to do the Sukuna thing? Again, I'm not really sure what to make of these spoilers right here. If you could make better sense of this, or you've seen different spoilers, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to know what is exactly happening here. I mean, I wouldn't put it past KENJAKU being able to do that, because he comes from the Heian era, which Sukuna came from. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Ridge Wallet. So guys, I know a lot of you probably don't have the best wallet game right now, but that's where Ridge comes in. Ridge makes these awesome minimalistic slim wallets that also have RFID blocking. This is the matte black titanium version. So the Ridge Wallet holds up to 12 cards, and they easily slide in just like this. It's so smooth, and it has a little notch at the bottom to bring them out even smoother. It also has a cash strap on the back, easily put in your cash, and it stays secure. But Ridge also has key holders. Just like the Ridge Wallet, this thing has a nice weight to it, super sturdy. This is the gunmetal version, and it just holds my keys like a dream, guys. I love this thing so much. It even holds my gym membership, which is awesome. But aside from what I have, they also have over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. The wallets also have over 50,000 five-star reviews. So guys, if you're interested in getting yourself a Ridge wallet and a key holder, check out the link in the description or go to ridge.com/bigz, because right now you're going to be able to save up to 40% through December 22nd. So again, that's ridge.com/bigz. Thanks guys. The fight starts with Yuki using a simple domain, but it gets crushed right away by KENJAKU's domain expansion. KENJAKU makes fun of Yuki for trusting Tengen, because this wouldn't have happened if she was using her own domain. So, whoa, that's crazy. I don't think we've ever seen this before, right? I mean, maybe we have. I can't really remember an instance of a simple domain getting crushed by the sheer power of someone's domain. Now, don't get me wrong. Simple domain doesn't like guarantee you to be protected from a domain expansion. I mean, it certainly helps. And it's like the poster boy to use use as a defense if you're not using your own domain, of course. But you need to be powerful enough to supplement. Yuki is special grade, so naturally her simple domain would be pretty powerful and effective, but like, no, Kenjaku's domain expansion is so powerful that it's just blowing her simple domain away. And unfortunately, we're not getting the finer details in these spoilers of what is happening when Kenjaku uses his domain expansion. And that's fine, because it gives us more intrigue going into the chapter on Sunday, or if you read it on Friday. But I review it on Sunday, so subscribe if you haven't already. Yuki is still alive after the attack and gets up. Kenjaku thinks that she would try to get some time to heal up, but Yuki refuses to take any time to heal and attacks immediately. And it shows that one of her arms is completely crushed. She's joining Todo. So yeah, this thing completely wrecked her. Whatever happened with the wound profusion, it was just a massive attack that hurt her severely and even crushed her arm. And she's not taking any time to heal up. So I don't know if this means that she can't use reverse curse technique, or she's just choosing not to do it. I mean, I would assume that she could do it since she is special grade. I don't know, it's like 50-50 right now. I assume that she can, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if like she can't for some reason. But her arm is completely wrecked here. And considering that she's joining Todo, I guess it's like done for good. Like, it's useless at this point, and the only way to heal it is with reverse curse technique, which is also interesting that she's not doing it. But she's not completely done yet. She's still able to fight back because Yuki fights Kenjaku hand to hand, but then she coughs up some blood and reaches her limit. But just in time, Choso enters the fight, charging in with an attack, and the chapter ends. All right, here we go. I kind of felt like this was going to happen because when Tsukumo, Choso, and Tengen were initially game planning their battle against Kenjaku, Tsukumo was basically saying that she didn't want Choso to help her because he would just get in the way because she's so much more powerful than him. And it's like, I get that, but just, you know, the more the merrier. Just have him in the background, just sniping with piercing blood or just throwing supernovas at him. I don't see why that would hurt. It'd be like having an assist in a fighting game. But now we're getting to the point of where they have to team up, which we kind of assumed was going to happen. Like, this wasn't obviously going to be a clean victory for them. I don't think it's going to be a victory for them at all, to be honest. But Choso's able to come back in the first place because he wasn't killed or anything. Tsukumo stepped in, and then Choso was kind of just at his limit and he passed down and like fell into the barrier. But this is also kind of the situation that they wanted to be in. I mean, obviously not as damaged, but Kenjaku did just activate his domain, so technically he should have a difficult time using his first techniques afterwards. I mean, that's usually what happens with it. But Kenjaku's an outlier, and maybe that doesn't apply to him, or maybe because he has multiple curse techniques, it doesn't really matter. Not really sure, but there has to be some kind of drawback at this point. But like I said, I don't expect them to win here because it was already said that he is going to absorb Tengen. So I assume that kind of has to happen, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that it's 100% guaranteed, but I think it's like 90% at this point, right? Let me know what you think about these spoilers in the comments, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.